need you to pray for me. I need you to care for me. I need you to want me to win. I need to know where I'm headed, cause I know where I've been.
My name is G.S. Brooks of the At-Risk Movement, and today, the title of this video essay is A Lost Nigga.
I'm just trying to give him the last picture. Yo, Pops wasn't no gangster. He was just another lost nigga.
You're not a gangster. You're just another lost nigga. Most minorities in the street today, a gangster is a drug dealer or a shooter who has popularity and is down for nearly anything illegal. But that is not a gangster. That is delusions of grandeur. A considerable amount of individuals that are selling drugs will tell on their connection and their friends when they get caught. That is not a gangster. Basically, every nationality or ethnicity that immigrated to the United States were gangsters. They made their wealth through intimidation, illegal substances, running numbers, murder, and every other common crime known to man. The difference is, most of the immigrants only use crime as a stepping stone to create legitimate businesses, corporations, and pass on generational wealth. They looked out for their own race and practiced nepotism, giving other people of their family, race, or communities opportunities to have careers in the legitimate business world. We will only use two examples in this video, the Irishman and the Italian. In the formulating years, New York was a very troubled land, filled with frequent violent outbursts and flare-ups that often resulted in death. New York was known as the 5 Points and was populated by brutes and thugs, all attempting to establish dominance and control over the territory through force. It was a brutal habitat in which gangs had more control, influence, and power than the government or police. In fact, the police were often victims of attack regularly by young Irish thugs who harbored enmity for Great Britain and contempt for British-imposed authority. The Irish youth ran the streets, indulging in criminal mischief, and when they encountered policemen dressed as British constables, the adolescents harassed and often ambushed them. The constant and brutal attacks installed fear in the officers. Wearing uniforms made them vulnerable and easily identifiable. As a solution, they discarded their uniforms for civilian garb and began to wear copper badges as a more covert symbol of their allegiance to the police force and British authority. Now, as undercover officers, the attacks were less frequent, but once the Irish became aware of their ploy to avoid detection, the young ruffians would hurl verbal insults at them and referring to the police as coppers, a reference to the copper badges that they wore, a term that later was shortened to the word cop, which officers are commonly called today. In an effort to halt the violent attacks by the Irish, police officers decided to recruit the young thugs and allow them to join the force. This concession is what led to the Irish being the majority of the New York City police force, dominating its composition by sheer numbers alone. Prior to the Irish massive influx into the field of police work, their arrival on the land of opportunity was modest. They were poor, they were minorities, and they were considered white niggers in America. The Italians came into this country for the promise of the American dream. When they arrived, they realized that it was a dog-eat-dog type of culture. Men had to hustle hard and only the strong survived. They were not considered to be a part of whiteness in America, as this country has started a social construct of color, black and white. And although the Italians were not considered to be white, they were not black either. So they did not receive all the benefits of being white. Therefore, they had to make their own way. Some of them brought to America the customs of the old country, which was also a system of exclusion of anyone that was not Sicilian. They populated communities, and the most dangerous of them seen a profit in crime. As the movie sometimes reflects life, these men would hijack freight trucks and use extortion to accumulate wealth and power. Italians like Al Capone got involved with the illegal liquor business in an era known to be the Prohibition. Back then, the liquor business was similar to the drug business of today. However, the Italian mafia families were organized. The profits that they received from their illegal endeavors were invested in legal businesses and paid their children's way through colleges. This empowered them to become lawyers, judges, and many forms of honorable positions in society. Eventually, the Italians set their sights on construction. They used their force and influence to seize control of the trade. They set up unions and dominated the field, and it remains that way to this very day. A lot of government contracts go to construction. Here's how it works. Various companies bid for construction contracts. If the company wins the bid, then they get the contract. There's many factors that go into the bidding process: relationships, compatibility, quality of work, estimation of cost and time, etc. These are usually multi-million-dollar contracts. The Italians usually have their hands on these contracts, and whether one of their companies receive the contracts or not, they also dominate the unions, so they receive some form of finance. What does this teach you? That even those who chose the lifestyle of a gangster eventually went legitimate because that lifestyle eventually runs its course. It is also a lesson in organizing. The Italians had an end game. They had a goal, and the streets was a mean to an end. Most people from minority communities think that the streets is a way of life for a lifetime. And therefore they do not have goals beyond the material possessions that they can purchase. They eventually end up being caught, losing most of whatever wealth that they accumulated to government agencies or attorneys, or losing their lives on the street. They also do not organize. The Italians used to protect their own communities, but blacks and some Latinos in the illegal market do not. They only care about what they could get, so they create chaos within the places and spaces that they call home. Therefore, there's no order. No one is protected. Not the children, not the elders, not the ordinary civilians. So while the Italians had the community to protect them when the law came for them, minorities do not have that. The community believes that they are better off with street entrepreneurs in prison. They have no safe havens. You are not a gangster. What does a gangster look like? How does a gangster move? To most minorities in the street today, a gangster is a drug dealer or a shooter who has popularity and is down for nearly anything illegal. But that is not a gangster. That is delusions of grandeur. A considerable amount of individuals that are selling drugs will tell on their connection and their friends when they get caught. That is not a gangster. Even the shooters today will cough up information to the police when they are captured, and the consequences of their actions are too heavy for their faint hearts to bear. You are not a gangster. Payment for homicide costs $25 to life, and most of you cannot afford that price. The reality is that most of the conflicts that you find yourself into can be worked out verbally with logic and reason, but your communication skills are poor. You are emotional and illogical. You have more access to information and resources than any previous generation, and still all you can come up with is trying to earn an infamous reputation so you can be talked about and praised by your peers. You want to be considered a real nigga, even at the cost of your life and your freedom? Does that make sense to you? Have you even researched what happened to the real niggas that came before you? The real niggas that had to do football numbers away from their family and friends, the real niggas ended up broke, in prison, and abandoned by the majority of people that they knew, that were praising them in the street. The real niggas lived in cages that looked like dungeons. No women around, no family. Just hardcore, predominantly white male racists controlling every aspect of their lives. Most of the real niggas were struggling. Most of them did not get consistent visits from the very people that they were trying to impress, that they would die for. Most of them did not get food packages or commissary. And none of them were independent. All of the real niggas were dependent on someone, because they did not have the freedom to roam and make their own moves. They had to depend on everything to be brought to them as they sat on a bench. Imagine a man that you respect, a father or an elder, and he was sitting at home while your mother went into the world and made money to feed him and the rest of the family, bring home the heavy bags of food while he sat on a couch, provided for all of his basic needs, food, clothing, and shelter. Would you respect that man? Well, that is the man that you are working so hard to become. You are not a gangster. You are an imposter. You pretend to be something that you're not for so long that you believe your own lies. But when you have to make a payment, you lose your nerve. You get into a cell and cry. You get on the phone and beg. You cannot afford the price. Your real nigga account reads in big bold letters, no funds available. But if you would have stayed in school and learned a trade, then got a good job or started your own business or service, marketing your skills, you wouldn't have to worry about sitting in a dungeon and praying for a judge to be lenient or someone to come visit you. If you want to live a high-value life, go learn a skill. Construction workers earn approximately $60 an hour when they are skilled. With that type of money, you can live a decent life, have a car, a home, and even the freedom to purchase a legal firearm for your household. This way, if someone comes into your home to rob you or attempt to harm you or your family, you have a right to stand your ground. You have those rights as a citizen of the United States of America. Don't throw it all away because you want instant gratification. Don't be too foolish or lazy to put in the work, because at the end of the day, you are not a gangster. My name is G.S. Brooks of the At-Risk Movement, and I approve this message.
Now, I don't want to break this bond. I just want to break the cycle. Thank your moms, I like you. But night she didn't write you, she stayed in line so your days could shine. I might do one better. With a letter to tell her how I appreciated God, how strong a queen she is. And any man to be lucky for her to be made his bride, you just got to take in mind your situation. And though I never met your father, I see a lot of his ways in your stride. I mean, you got that talking like I walk it kind of attitude. You know, it's real good that he gave you pride. Every son should be proud of his father. And I look at my little one, and I want the same for mine. That's why when I look up at you, I see what he can go through when a father don't take the time. You know, I think it's real fucked up. Hold up. He gonna get this work. I see what he can go through when a father don't take his time. You know, I think it's real fucked up when people gave him all that time. But you wanna know what's even more fucked up? It's when all the years he got away from you, has only made a way for you to be more together with him in a cage in 5 years. That's why I'm angry, guy. Because he didn't take the steps, man. You chase his back. But the running shoes ain't your size. They say don't whine over spilled milk. But what a man supposed to do when his baby's crying? Oh, he say shit like, you know, of course to be the boss. But he too good for a paying job? What was wrong with being a cable guy? A real estate agent? Why was that nigga too cool to go to flight school and learn how to fly planes to the friendly skies? But nah. He told you he had to do what he had to do to put food on y'all plate to dine. You mean to tell me all that swinging and banging was to give y'all greater lives when God gave him drive? And that big meat's back up singing ass nigga left your moms out here alone for the latest ride? Don't plague your mom? Don't plague your mom? Your mistakes ain't God's? And you wonder why the shotgun shells still ate your spine? Something to think about the next time you're on stage waving signs. Trying to be like the only daddy you got. I understand you want to keep his name alive, but youngin, I'm trying to save you from your demise. You said it yourself. My pops was a real nigga. Youngin, that ain't no lie. He was in the business that the system perpetuates from the side to keep us in the condition we ain't made to survive. But you think he'll die? Well, let me ask you this. Would you kill the world and save yourself, nigga? I ain't think that was wise. Something to think about the next time y'all thugging, drinking and drugging, hard liquor y'all full of killers, remember? Hold up, I tried to give you the large picture. Yo, Pops wasn't no gangster. He was just another lost nigga. You think it's gangster to let a mother let that dope water her daughter, shoot her father from his son, and turn around and put that boy on the corner? Or leave your son out here alone to think for himself, knowing he need order? Is your money being long, or is your lifespan being shorter? Huh? But I'm just trying to give you the large picture. Hold up, man. Let me go. I'm just trying to give him the large picture. Yo, Pops wasn't no gangster. He was just another lost nigga. I mean, yo, daddy, that father tried to get the point. You know, wise man told me that a wise man understands in this life you want to build or destroy. And since it takes a father to raise a man-child, well, it's no wonder you talk all that young shit. You're a little boy. That don't get the large picture. Your Pops wasn't no gangster. He was just another lost nigga.
Credible messengers on the move. www.atristmovement.com